I'm one of the pastors here, and we're so glad that Kyle could be with us tonight as well. Back in, I think, May, I saw him in another church in an outdoor concert, and I thought we should do an outdoor concert, but he wasn't available until July, and you know it gets really hot. Even though it's cooler right now than normal, it's still hot, and it's humid outside, and the rains might be coming, so we moved inside. So we're glad you're here. This is a gift tonight to the community, to the neighborhoods around here, but if you would like to give a donation just to help with expenses, I've got this. I'm going to put it right back there in the sound booth, and as you leave tonight, if you want to leave a gift, you can do that. But you don't have to. This is a gift for our community, and it's a gift to have Kyle with us tonight. So welcome, Kyle.
Well, some glad morning as life is o'er, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away, oh, I'll fly away, oh, glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. When the shadows of this life have grown, I'll fly away. Like a bird from these prison bars is flown, I'll fly away. Oh, I'll fly away, oh, glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. Just a few more weird days and then I'll fly away to a land where joy will never end. I'll fly away, oh, I'll fly away, oh, glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away, oh, I'll fly away, oh, glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die, hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. I'll fly away. Wow. Thank you very much. It's the title track of my latest album with my band. And a message that sometimes you just need the simple little message, the 2 or 3 word messages to get you through sometime. This one is just simply fear or faith. You can't have both. Fear or faith, you can't have both. That's what I've been told before, and I guess it's true. Just change the way you look at things, and things you look at change. Well, I guess it's true. Still others told me I had only but myself to blame. Now I'm walking, now I'm talking, now I know my name. And now I see you, and now I feel you, and now I hear you, and now I can breathe, and now I know it's true. You teach people how to treat you by the things things you do and say, well, I guess that's true. You can have reasons or results, but you can't have both. Well, I guess that too is true. Others told me I had only but myself to blame. Now I'm walking, now I'm talking, now you know my name. And now I see you, and now I feel you, and now I hear you, and now I can breathe, and now I know it's true. And now I see you, now I feel you, and now I hear you, and now I see you, and now I feel you, and now I hear you, and now I can breathe, and now I know it's true. So people, be strong, and now I know it's true. How many of you, it's the first time to see Kyle Dillingham? Okay, so about a week ago, does anybody notice something different about my hair if you have seen me before? Some people see somebody clapping back here. They were just waiting for me to get that haircut. I had long hair. I had down to my shoulders. My 6-year-old daughter was asking me this last weekend if she could. She just learned how to braid, and she wanted to know if she could braid my hair. About all I can say is that I was cast last week for a major motion picture, and this is the haircut that I had to have, and it was sort of something a little more like this. And that's about all I can say, according to my contract. But the pastor did ask me where I was shooting this week. And I did happen to say that I happened to be up in Osage County. And it's very exciting. And it's not because of Dree Drummond, although I love the Pioneer Woman. But a lot of my, when I was in high school, I really started falling in love with the sounds of the old-time jazz and swing and Dixieland and all that. And you mind if I just do a couple of my favorite old kind of jazz? It just makes you happy. Okay. So something maybe a little bit like this. Well, you're nobody till somebody loves you. You're nobody till somebody cares. You may be king, you may possess the world and its gold, but gold won't bring you happiness when you're growing old. The world still is the same, you'll never change it, just as sure as the stars shine above. You'll know nobody till somebody loves you, so find yourself somebody to love. Shine on, harvest moon up in the sky. I ain't had no loving since January, February, June, or July. Showtime ain't no time to sit around and spoon. So shine on, harvest moon. Seems like old times having you to walk with. Seems like old times having you to talk with, and it's still a thrill just to have my arms around you. Still a thrill as it was the day I found you. Seems like old times summer dates and flowers. Seems like old times, staying up for hours, making dreams come true, doing things we used to do. Seems like old times, being here with you. Well, pack up all my cares and woes, here I go, singing low. Everybody, bye, bye, blackbird. It's a sing-along. Where somebody waits for me, sugar sweet, so is she. Bye, bye, blackbird. It's okay, you're gonna learn it. Well, no one here can love and understand me. Oh, what hard luck stories they all hand me. So make my bed and light the light. I'll be home late tonight. Blackbird, bye-bye. After you're gone and left me crying, after you're gone, there's no denying you'll feel blue, you'll feel sad. You'll miss the dearest pal that you've ever had. After the years we spent together, their joys and tears, all kinds of weather. Someday when you grow lonely, your heart will break like mine and you'll want me only. After you've gone away. But wait, that's not the rest of the story here. After I'm gone, after we break up, after I'm gone, you's gonna wake up. You will find that you were blind. Do let somebody come and change your mind. After the years we spent together, their joys and tears, all kinds of weather. Someday, blue and downhearted, you'll long to be with me right back where you started. After you've gone away. A young man, fiddle player, young violinist, Jackson. Jackson, are you watching out there on Facebook, YouTube, somewhere? And hello to everybody on YouTube, wherever you are. Where is YouTube? Out in the country somewhere. Young violinist that was not feeling well and so stayed at home. But this one's for you, Jackson. A little Devil Wind Down to Georgia. Well, the devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for soul to steal. He was in a bind, he was way behind. He was willing to make a deal. When he come across this young man sitting on a fiddle and playing it hot, and the devil jumped on a hick stump, said, "Boy, let me tell you what. Bet you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dare, well, I'll make a bet with you. See, you play pretty good fiddle, son. Give the devil his due. I'm gonna bet this fiddle of gold against your soul, 'cause I think I'm better than you." The boy said, "My name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet, and you're gonna regret, 'cause I'm the best there's ever been." Johnny, rosin up your bow and play your fiddle hard, 'cause hell's broke loose in Georgia and the devil deals the cards. If you win, you get the shiny fiddle made of gold. If you lose, the devil gets your soul. Devil opened up his case, said, "I'll start this show," and fire flew from his fingertips as he rosined up his bow. He pulled that bow across strings and it made an evil hiss. Then a band of demons joined in and it sounded something like this. devil finished, Johnny said. That's pretty good, old son. But just sit down in that chair right there and let me show you how it's done. Fire on the mountain, run, boys, run. Girls in the house is riding some. Chicken the brand man picking that dough. Hands that hook by no child, no. Because he knew that he'd been beat. And he laid that golden fiddle on the ground at Johnny's feet. Johnny said, hey, devil, just come on back if you ever want to try again. I done told you once, you son of a gun, I'm the best there's ever been. He played Fire on the Mountain, Run, Boys, Run. Girls in the house is the rising sun. Chicken the brand pan picking that dough. Guns that hook by no child, no. Thank you very, very, very much. My goodness, it feels good. I'm sure that's right about that moment where I'm thinking, I'm glad we aren't in the 90-degree weather. I'm already sweating. And the last 2 days I've been accustomed to somebody blowing cool air down my shirt in between takes. Anybody volunteer? I asked the pastor if he said, can I get you anything else? I said, oh, I don't know, maybe some water and something to dab my forehead and a little air down the back. My wife said, watch it when you get home. No, not really. But, so I'm switching gears here just a little bit. And I grabbed this instrument here. I love this violin because it made it onto the cover of the Oklahoma Gazette. This violin right here, picture of this violin, me holding it, covered the Gazette in May of 2016 when I released an album called Broken Beyond Repair. And the whole idea is I take violins like this, whose repair cost is greater than the replacement value, kind of like a totaled car. It can be fixed, but it's cost prohibitive. I make music on these instruments to show how, just like you and I, in our brokenness, there's still beauty and value in every single person created in God's image, and how we can be used just as we are. In fact, furthermore, Paul emphasizes it this way. He says, I'll boast all the more of my weaknesses, for it's in our weaknesses where Christ's power is made full. I'm weak, therefore I am strong, he writes. And it's such a funny concept for our human brains. We think just the opposite. When I get together, my act together, and when I'm stronger, or when I know more scriptures, or when I attend church more regularly, then God can use me. God says, come all who are weary. And I think that little violin, I learned a lot from this little violin. So as I play on this badly damaged violin, I ask you to think about the brokenness in your own lives and the brokenness in this world around us, and ask ourselves the question, what does God see? Easy does it, this too shall pass. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. One day at a time, it works if you work it. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. This is a journey, not a destination. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Just for today, let it begin with me. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Count your blessings again and again. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Act as if, gotta keep an open mind. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. This is a journey, not a destination. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Live in the now, to thine own self be true. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Easy does it, this too shall pass. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Slow but sure, it's gonna work if you work it. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. I came and I came to believe. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. One is too many, 1,000 not enough. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Before you say I can't, please say that you'll try. Say that you'll try. First things first. Keep it simple, stupid. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. No pain, no gain. Gotta stick with the winners. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Decisions aren't forever. More will be revealed. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Let go of old ideas. You will be amazed. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. Keep coming back. This is a journey, not a destination. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Just for today, let it begin with me. Live and let live, but for the grace of God. Broken beyond repair, but what does God see? I've been working on a new album. Anybody ready for some new music? People are just ready for some music, period. I just want to say this is a good time to just thank Reverend Scott Spencer for opening up the church and the invitation for me to come and perform this community outreach concert. I just want to thank Scott and his leadership here at Mosaic United Methodist Church. I've had a chance to represent Oklahoma in the United States now in over 40 countries with my music. And everywhere I go, I'm so proud to call Oklahoma my home. And that, where are you from? I'm from Oklahoma. 2 years ago, I made my Grand Ole Opry debut as a guest artist in Nashville. And it was the most exciting thing. It was kind of like the moment I've been waiting for my whole life. From Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Kyle Dillingham. Not another Nashville fiddle player. Oklahoma. I grew up, I was just telling some ladies here on the front that when I was a kid and all through college and beyond, every time I'd play, somebody'd come up and say, "Man, with a talent like yours, what are you doing in Oklahoma? And you should be in," just fill in the blank, you know? And I just kept waiting for the day when, when somebody'd hear me play and they'd say, "Man, with a talent like yours, it's no wonder you're in Oklahoma." That's how I feel. That's how I feel about it, and nothing much can change my mind. But this, my wife, she said, if anybody should be writing and singing a song about Oklahoma, it should be you. This last November, I was honored by the Oklahoma Hall of Fame at their induction ceremony as a goodwill ambassador for the state of Oklahoma. And yes, and unfortunately that event also became a virtual event, and virtually nobody, which means virtually nobody saw it. That's what they mean. But it was sort of I had been waiting and waiting and waiting, because when I wrote the song, my manager kind of said, we're going to pitch this, and right like the week before we were going to be pitching it to all the record labels and stuff, and it was like the music industry just shut down that night. We had got off the phone, and that night was the COVID cases at the Thunder game. And so I didn't sing this song it was supposed to be my best song, and I didn't sing it to anybody for like over a year. And it was very frustrating, and so I sang it at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, which virtually nobody saw. So you could almost say more people today will hear this song than heard it there at the premiere debut. But this is going to be the title track of my new album, and it's definitely a tribute to my state where I come from. And this is a song for anybody though who has a place that they call home. I hope you enjoy. This is one called Homa. 14 days and nights away, I fiddle up and down this highway, singing almost every night, trying hard to make it right, with every minute adding up. I drink this coffee in my cup, these little smiles reminding me why I can't wait to be back home. Looks so good from up above my home. Place where I first fell in love. Oh, I can't wait to be back home in Oklahoma. Stars up in the summer night sky. Homa. Sunsets always make me cry. Oh, I can't wait to be back home in Oklahoma. I roll over, you're not there, but I'm the only one who cares, 'cause everybody's smiling now. I'll find a way to give somehow, but the last thing that I wanna see is one more stage between my lover and me. I've got to let you go, but tomorrow you should know I'll be back home. Looks so good from up above my home. Place where I first fell in love. Oh, I can't wait to be back home in Oklahoma. Stars up in the summer night sky, Homa. Sunsets always make me cry, oh, I can't wait to be back home in Oklahoma. Homa, Homa, Oklahoma. Oh, thunderstorm is rolling in, feels so good to breathe again. This land and sky reminding me why I'm so proud to be back home. June bugs in the front porch light, my home, where everything will be alright. Oh, I can't wait to be back home. Wheat fields far as I can see, in home, a little simple life is all I need. Oh, I can't wait to be back home in Oklahoma. Something in the atmosphere of home, I can tell the Lord is here, and it feels so good to be back home in Oklahoma. Home. Well, heck, let's do another. This is called "To Hold You," a song for Jenny. Jenny's my wife, and during the lockdown, it was kind of interesting because our lives are kind of in two different states functionally, and we both have children from a previous marriage and with custody agreements in Indianapolis and Oklahoma City, and so we both spend time in both places. And I was driving, I think it was like last March it was last May, and I was driving to Indiana, and I was on the phone with somebody before I got off. They said, "Well, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm driving to Indiana." "You sure you should be doing that?" I was like, "I'm gonna go take care of my wife and kids. I think I'm pretty sure that's what I should be doing." And it was kind of an interesting thing, but the next 8 hours I was thinking about that and the whole essential and non-essential, and I just kind of, by the end of that trip, I'd come to the conclusion that the thing that was truly essential is just to be with the ones you love. So this is a little song called "To Hold You," a song for Jenny. 100 miles from Louisville, 700 miles away from home. I pull into the driveway, closing out my prayers. I see you left the porch light on for me. What's to come, I can't be sure, but lately I'm not sure I even care. 'Cause I've read about some crazy times and I've seen those picture shows, but lately things have gotten really strange. But you've got to hold the one you love. That is the only thing that matters anyway. And if you have to give up on yourself, someone could be headed your way to hold you. State of emergency, that's the state we're living in, I'm told. So far I've been doing fine, this Oklahoma state of mine, and God has given us our daily bread. Skies of gray or skies of blue don't matter much if my working days are through. I'll just sit here in this house with you and strum on my guitar. It's essential that I have you close to me. But you got to hold the one you love. That is the only thing that matters anyway. And if you have to give up, don't give up on yourself. Someone could be headed your way to hold you. And joy to be made, but you must never be afraid. You've just got to hold the one you love. Well, that is the only thing that matters anyway. And if you have to give up, don't give up on yourself. Someone could be headed your way to hold you, to hold you. What you gonna do when someone comes to hold you? Having a good time out there? Want to hear something kind of a little bit different? I totally forgot to include it in materials for my introduction, Scott. I'm pretty hardcore, kind of a bilingual rapper, kind of a guy. Anyways, a lot of people are actually pretty intimidated by me. Thought I'd let you know. No, it's I ended up when I was in college, I needed 8 credit hours of a foreign language, and I ended up choosing French. Everybody around me said, "What the heck are you studying French for?" I said, "Well, I feel like I'm called to learn French," and I really had. By that time I'd been to 25 or more countries, and it was just like I went to France, and it was just like something just spoke to me, and I want to talk to these people, I want to communicate with these people, and who I have practically nothing in common with. I want to know them. I want to get these people to know these people, and I've made some lifelong friends in France, and just like people that are just like my family there. And but I had gone ultimately my senior year in college. I took a semester off. I was studying violin at OCU, and the dean of the School of Music said, "Well, I'll hold your scholarship, but you promise you'll be back next semester to finish and graduate." I said, "I'll do it." So I got a date with a girl for New Year's Eve to make sure that I would come home, because I was never going to, stand a girl up, So anyhow, I came back, and the strangest thing started happening is that, I would, a teacher would ask a question, I'd raise my hand, but I could only think of the answer in French, or I'd be, suddenly I started rapping in French. That was a really weird experience, kind of out of body, you might say. But I'm gonna sing you some of my from my archive French rap repertoire. This is one called Autrefois, From Another Time. Je ne trouve pas que le temps se passe lentement en regard à tous mes propres sentiments. Si ça sent bien et à l'air bon, alors pour moi je dis tiens, ne me laisse plus au fond de la nuit, de ma cour, de ma poche, de mon destin. Je sais bien que je suis sur le bon chemin. Ma confiance reste sûre au ciel, bien sûr, au-delà de la lune, miel et sucré. Oui, je sais, c'est pas la fin de l'histoire, ni le début comme on disait. Assez souvent, de temps en temps, ce que tu racontes n'est que la vérité. Je suis fier de toi. T'as fait de bons progrès, mais tant pis pour toi que je sois déjà prêt. Rencontrer un ancien ami de l'avenir fait chier me sentir, puis partir tout doucement, lentement, afin de ne pas déchirer le cœur, le même que dont j'ai parlé tout à l'heure, appartenait à toi. Autrefois que t'on dit qu'aujourd'hui que tout bon, je ne peux plus te supporter, moi ça va, tu vois, tu avais eu la chance, si tu as raté la chance se passe. Allez toi à la messe, ne priez pour moi comme tu priais pour toi. Autrefois, ouais, mettez-vous sous genoux, c'était toujours comme ça pour moi, j'étais toujours comme ça pour moi autrefois. quick redemption here. Maybe you guys can put your hands together. Well, there are loved ones in the glory whose dear forms are often missed. When you close your earthly story, will you join them in their bliss? Everybody. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. In the olden days of childhood, oft they told of wondrous love, pointed to the dying Savior, will they dwell with Him above? Everybody. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. One by one the seats were empty, one by one they went away. Here the circle has been broken, will it be complete one day? Or will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? Well, there's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Will the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. So, along with a lot of the new songs, I also wrote a new fiddle tune. You want to hear it? A little new Oklahoma fiddle tune. And it's kind of, I wanted this to really be, kind of embody everything I feel, and it's called Freedom Bells, and it's got a patriotic thing about it, but also there's this idea that where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is liberty, there is freedom. And I just think that sometimes there's a freedom, there's a way for the Lord to use music in such a way that it can just bring people together so naturally. And it's just been a part of my mission my whole life, everywhere I've gone. I've always felt my music like a ministry. It's something that you never know what somebody's come with, because we all are dealing with something. And I was so touched. I performed this a couple of months ago at Spanish Cove in Yukon, and there was a veteran that came up to me, and he was in the Navy, and he said, I want you to know that tune, your Freedom Bells, was right on. He said, it sounded just like the jets taking off of the aircraft carrier. He said it was just amazing. He said I want you to know, keep going. That's good. You're doing the right thing. And man, it just gave me chills. But I didn't know it was going to capture that. But I'm sure glad it did for somebody. But it sure goes once it gets going, kind of like a jet, and it doesn't stop. But I hope you guys enjoy. This is a brand new one called Freedom Bells. Never gets old. Anybody shouting, anybody singing, anybody shouting, anybody singing, anybody wanna hear those freedom bells ringing? So don't you wanna hear those freedom bells ringing? About this little girl on the third row over here, you wanna hear those? Sound like bells? for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above thy fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. I feel really fortunate to have a chance to not only to meet Roy Clark when I was a kid, but he kind of picked me out, and I was in Enid, my hometown, Enid, Oklahoma. Anybody ever been to Enid, huh? Everybody's been to Enid. And I was in Myanmar in 2013 on an American Music Abroad tour with the U.S. State Department. And it was the U.S. Embassy was hosting us in Yangon, Myanmar, Burma. And this is, of course, they're having like 2.0, really, really horrible things. But they had just come through some horrible things, and I think it was the fall right before we were there, about 6 months before we were there, President Obama had visited, and it's the first time a U.S. president had visited Myanmar in a long, long time, years. And then Secretary of State Clinton went follow up. She had been there like a month or something before we got there to tour, and we were the very first, probably in over 50 years, diplomatic touring, performing group or speaker that the U.S. had sent, and they were able to promote public events, and so they wanted to do something really fantastic. And they put us on the top, kind of like Beatles style, on the rooftop of their tallest building downtown, which by U.S. standards would have been considered a condemned building. But like there were a few floors where you could see potentially you could do something on those floors, but otherwise there was no electricity. We were walking upstairs all the way up to the top floor of this building, and like rubble and like places. I mean, there was no handrails or anything. We're just walking up to the top, and we got about, I don't know, the third or fourth floor, and we saw this tiny little art gallery, about as big as this space right here. And we thought, cool, there's an art gallery. We'll have to come visit that on our way back down. We'll need a break. And we got upstairs, and we played our show, and they had to have a generator. They had to actually have a generator to power our sound equipment up there. They didn't even have the electricity there to do it. And they were so excited, and there were a bunch of people that had gathered on this rooftop, which probably also made it that less safe. And we played our hearts out, and even at one point there became like this queue, and there was a bunch of musicians that had come, and they had their instruments, and one at a time they sat in with us, and became like this live jam kind of karaoke / thing was happening. And man, at the end of the night we were just so excited. But there had been like this one Caucasian couple that we just saw, stood out in the crowd. And we right away spoke to them afterwards. They came up to us, and it turns out that the guy, they didn't know about our concert. They had come to the art opening that was happening on the third floor. And it was a friend of theirs from Tulsa, Oklahoma, that was exhibiting her art. And this guy grew up in Waukomis, Oklahoma, and he was working at the time running cattle for Dr. Barry Pollard in Enid, a big cattle rancher, with my brother. Yes, I kid you not, in Garfield County, Oklahoma. And I tell you what, it's just the strangest thing. Enid and Waukomis and Garfield County, it's just like, it's the center of the universe, I tell you, sometimes. I don't even know where I was going with that story. Good grief. Roy Clark, thank you. It's like I had a good story to tell you. I've talked too much. I've got a clock here. I've been talking for like 10 minutes. I'm kidding. I'll probably have. But he was there for a quail hunt, and he pulled me up. He was doing his segment of the entertainment, and I was in the staff band, the house band, and he pulled me out front, featured me, and he had me play Faded Love. And when I finished, everybody jumped to their feet and were clapping and cheering, and they'd probably all been drinking. But the general manager of the Grand Ole Opry was also there. It was a celebrity quail hunt. And he, in the midst of all the excitement, jumped on stage and gave me an invitation to come out and do a feature performance at the Grand Ole Opry with Roy Clark. And I was, 16, 17 years old at the time. And when I got to Nashville, Roy Clark was, at the last minute, he couldn't be in Nashville to play with me, so I was featured with a banjo player, comedian, Mike Snyder. And we didn't know what to do, like, where do we go and all this, so we showed up a day early. We got there on a Friday. I was supposed to play on a Saturday. We got there on a Friday, and we went backstage, the Opry, and we were talking to the security person. We said, Kyle Dillingham, I was supposed to play. They called. They said, oh, yeah, come on in. You're supposed to play tomorrow, but just come on in. We'll put you on tonight, too. And I thought, I should have come about a month ago. And but Roy, he had felt so bad that he wasn't there to perform with me, which is always good when you have somebody like Roy Clark feeling bad about something for you. And he was doing a big benefit concert at Oklahoma City University. And so his manager, Jim Halsey, reached out to say, maybe you could come and play with Roy Clark here. Well, at the time, I was trying to get into Oklahoma City University as a student. I was a senior in high school at this point. And I said, yes, indeed. And I got there, and the president of the university wanted to introduce me that night as a future student. He was like, I heard you were you're going to be at OCU next year. And I said, well, that's what I was wanting to do. My violin playing and my grades my ACT score didn't quite merit the scholarships that I needed. And he said, well, that's what I want to do. I'm going to introduce you tonight as a future student. Got all the Kirkpatrick Auditorium filled to the brim with all the donors and stuff, and Roy Clark's bringing a kid out. He should be an OCU student. And I played, and Roy featured me for about 20 minutes on his show that night, and we were laughing and cutting up and singing and carrying on. And the next week, I got a revised scholarship notice in the mail to go study music for a full tuition scholarship at OCU. I've always referred to it as the honorary Roy Clark Scholarship. It was actually the Margaret E. Petrie, but Margaret might not have thought I merited it. But man, and then I didn't see Roy for like 20 years. And then about 4 or 5 years ago, I contacted his manager, Jim Halsey, and asked Jim if I could come see him. I felt like there was more I could and should be doing with my talent and my music. And now, for about the last 4 years, Jim and I have been working together, and he's been my manager. And there's that legacy of people. He's represented something like over 36 Hall of Famers, and mainly in the Country Music Hall of Fame. But the first day I came to Jim's office, he said, I got a couple phone calls to make. Maybe you can just go next door and play some music for Roy. And I thought, Roy Clark? Yeah, I'll just go busting into Roy's office and tell him I'm here to play my fiddle for you. I said, is he going to be okay with that? Oh, yeah, he's going to love it. So I went over next door, and I just sat, and I had a moment to just carefully tell him everything that had transpired in my life from that day forward, and the opportunities that opened up, and the countries I'd been, and the people I'd met, and the opportunities I'd had, and just to thank him. And his eyes got bigger and bigger. He couldn't believe it, what had happened from that one little kind gesture of just saying, hey, here's a kid that plays the fiddle. Why don't you come up here and play one, And we never know what's going to happen because of a small action or a gesture that we might make. And when Roy Clark passed away, just a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago, I could hear the sadness in my manager's voice. They were lifelong friends and partners, and I thought, man, sad as he might be, and the rest of us might feel the loss of this great American icon, I thought there's nobody that misses Roy Clark like Barbara Clark, his widow. And I thought, well, maybe there's something I can do with my music for Barbara. And I hung up the phone from talking to Jim, and just instantly this song came to me, and I wrote it and recorded it, and I drove to Tulsa. And I got to Jim's office. I said, Jim, I've got this song I wrote for Barbara. I want you to see if you can give this to her. And he said, well, she's in the office. Why don't you just go give it to her yourself? And if you got your guitar, why don't you just sing it for her? And I went next door to Roy's office, and I sat across his desk from Barbara, and sang this for her. And it was a prayer. I just wanted to do something to help bring some peace to her. And maybe there's somebody here, and I know that we all deal with loss of different kinds, and I never even thought about this as a song that would have meaning for somebody else, and I decided I would record it, and it's been recorded. It'll be on my album. But I hope that you'll enjoy this prayer. It's called Let This Peace. Let this peace wash down on you, and let this love begin something new. So much pain and sorrow to bear, may your soul be mended with care, and let this light shine in your heart, and let this joy, let it set you apart. You are weak, you will be made strong. You know the first, it will always be the last. And though it seems you always get things wrong, the past is in the past. So take this chance to be someone new. And as you give, may the Lord give to you. Let every hand that ever turned you away be the hand of someone who would help you find your way. 'Cause when you're lost inside and you don't know what to do, an angel will help you break through. You are weak, you will be made strong. You know the first will always be the last. And though it seems you always get things wrong, just remember, the past is in the past. Let this peace wash down on you, and let this love, let it begin something new. And in the end, when the Lord bids you come, may His will be done. May His will be done. Thank you so much. I want to thank Jeff back here on the sound. Jeff's in the house. And I'd gone back and threw a curve to our live stream technician back here, and I didn't even catch his name. I was so busy telling him what to do. Who is it? Rex? Rex! Hey man, right back there. All you folks at home or wherever you are around the world that are watching, it's thanks to Rex. So there you go. We wouldn't be. I've finished these things, and I've got friends all over the world that will be typing in, and somebody from France. Oh, merci, c'était très très bien. C'était très bien ça. Merci. But it's wonderful. Le monde est petit, the world is small. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna do. We're supposed to play about 30 more minutes and then take a break and then go till midnight, right? If I've understood correct. I'm just getting fired up. I was saying that we were working some strange hours this week, and it was a nighttime scene, and so we were kind of being called to check in about 5:15, 5:30. Costume, hair, and makeup, eating. They called it lunch, which I thought finally some people with understand a musician. 6:30 or 7 o'clock having our lunch. Of course, that's what it is. Everybody knows that that's lunchtime. But it was nighttime, and so we were kind of working from about 8 o'clock till about we left set about 4:30 this morning. I got back, and then we had to drive back to the hotel about 50 minutes, and I came in and I was like, bacon and eggs? I thought, oh my gosh, oh yeah, and it was the first time I'd seen the hot breakfast because I had missed it every morning. I'm naturally not going to, if I'm having lunch at, anyways, everybody knows breakfast is noon, right, good answer. And I was like, oh man, I was not hungry because I just finished eating supper. But I went and I just looked at those eggs and bacon. I'm going to at least see this thing. It's been so long since I saw a hot breakfast at a hotel. I said, I got to take pictures of it and everything. But I'm going to play you all a little Orange Blossom special. How does that sound? Once again, I want to thank you, Scott, so much for having me out. You guys have a good time at this outdoor concert. And I really appreciate the generosity and the support of the church reaching out to me to do this concert. It had been about 1.5 years since I'd done concerts. So it allowed me a chance to see if I still remembered how to do it. But if you do feel inclined to support the ministries that are happening here at the church, remember that there is that picture back there in the back, and give as you feel led. And just know the church has been very generous and gracious with me. Train starts out nice and slow coming out of the station, doesn't it? It's an old steam engine. Well, my kids, oh my gosh, my son is 8 and my daughter's 6, so they don't care about Thomas coming to town anymore. But I used to see, they're 2, they're 2, they're 2, they're 4, they're 6, they're 8, shunting trucks and hauling freight, red and green and brown and blue. They're the really useful crew, all with different roles to play, and tinman shed so far away, down the hills and round the bend. Thomas and his friends. Thomas, he's the cheeky one. James, he's vain but lots of fun. Percy, home the mail on time. Gordon thunders down the line. Emily really knows her stuff. Henry toots and huffs and puffs. Edward wants to help and share. Toby, well, let's say he's square. They're 2, they're 4, they're 6, they're 8, shunting trucks and hauling freight, red and green and brown and blue. They're the really useful crew, all with different roles to play, around Tinmouth shed so far away, down the hills and round the bends. Thomas and his friends. nation, the number one engine. Look yonder coming down the railroad track. Look yonder coming down the railroad track. It's the Orange Blossom Special, bringing my baby back. Hey, while we're all standing, what a fellowship, what a joy divine, leaning on the everlasting arms. What a blessedness, what a peace is mine, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning, leaning, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning, leaning, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, how sweet to walk in this pilgrim way, leaning on the everlasting arms. And oh, how bright the path grows from day to day, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, leaning, leaning, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning, leaning, leaning on the everlasting arms. What have I to dread? What have I to fear? Leaning on the everlasting arms. When I have blessed peace with my Lord so near, leaning on the everlasting arms. Oh, leaning, leaning, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning, leaning, leaning on the everlasting arms. Yes, I'm leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, safe and secure from all alarms. Leaning on Jesus, leaning on Jesus, leaning on the everlasting arms. Leaning on the everlasting arms. Amen. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mosaic United Methodist Church. If anybody would like to take a CD home, I have some CDs. And I'll also tell you that July 30th, it's the last Friday of the month, I'll be at Belle Isle Restaurant and Brewery at 50 Penn Place with my band. And please spread the word and come hear it again. And promise we won't bore you with the same old stuff. We'll do new things.